Hey, what is up guys? Today's video I'm gonna show you the best mega deck for the mega deck challenge, which is coming out at Christmas. I'm recording this video one day before because at Christmas I don't have time to do this, but I have the best deck for you guys to play in this challenge. By the way, if you're celebrating Christmas, I wish you already a Merry Christmas. Thank you so much for all the support, and I would say we directly jump into that. But before that, if you guys don't want to miss any videos on the channel, don't forget to subscribe, and also if you guys think about buying this great special offers, don't use critical mode in the shop. Don't forget to use critical mode in the shop, okay? And I would say, let's directly jump to the deck, and I'm gonna show you why this deck is so good. So guys, I'm also putting you the full deck now in the corner somewhere. As I said, I don't have, there's no mode, there's no mega deck friendly mode, otherwise I would test the deck, but this is the deck which I used last time. This is the deck which a ton of my friends use, and honestly, the deck itself isn't really important in this mode. It sounds kind of dumb, but you can use also random deck, and if you're a solid player, you are able to get the emote, the exclusive emote in this challenge. But the main thing is, there are like some really strategic deck tips which I'm gonna give you. You can use 18 card, or you have to use 18 card, and we're gonna go over the deck, and I'm gonna show you why I have these cards in the deck. Like different approach from my normal videos where I'm just showing gameplay, but I also think this might help you to understand the deck and use it perfectly. So, what is important in the mega deck? Having win conditions in the deck. We have the Electro Giant, which is really good. Also, it's just like a really broken win condition because I'm like feeling a ton of people use the Mega Knight and Electro Giant hard counters Mega, and also we have Bait, which will also be important later on when I'm explaining my support cards. We have the Skeleton Bow plus Goblin Bow, which is doing a ton of pressure and also outcycling kind of the spells, because our deck, which you will see, is not like that cheap, but it's also not really expensive. So if your opponent decides to use less spells, which a ton of people will use, you can really punish them, and also just creating pressure, baiting some stuff out, and most of the time they're going for a Valkyrie, they're going for a Mega Knight, and like just like this Electro Giant, Magic Archer combination is insane. Also Magic Archer has some different value in this deck, which I'm going to show you later on, but Magic Archer strikes on the tower is just absolutely insane. We also have the Miner deck just to get some chip damage. So we have 4 normal win conditions to get damage on the tower, but we also have the Magic Archer, which I kind of count as the win condition. So these are like my 4 win conditions in the deck, which I really like to have, which will always suggest you, even if you're using a different deck, like 3 to 4 win conditions I would have in the deck. Also, you could use like Mega Knight Miner Barrel, Mega Knight Graveyard, Golem Balloon at example. These are like always, or like Royal Giant, Elixir Golden. These are always like combination you can use, but I'm like a really big cycle fan, so I have my Miner, Goblin Bow, Skeleton Bow, and also have the Electro Giant as the main win condition. So guys, now it's at the support cards, or like kind of defensive cards which are like supporting my win condition. Even it sounds kind of weird, not really supporting in the way like a mini pack about a giant, but kind of the Miner, right? We have the Miner, we have the Bats Goblin Gang, really supportive, also kind of baiting out spells, and your opponent, as you guys can see right now, we have the Skeleton Bow, we have the Goblin Bow, we have the Bats Goblin Gang. 4 really spell bait units in our deck, and it's not most likely that our opponent has 4 spells always in hand, especially if they have an unfortunate hand. So what is really important for a Mega Knight deck is that you're always able to cycle troops. You never want to have a troop on your hand, for sure sometimes you don't want to play it, but you always want to have a troop on your hand which you can play in every single situation. Example, Ice Golem can always cycle in the back, Goblin Game can always play Goblin Bow the same. So always make sure to have cheap cycle cards to kind of fix your cycle, and that's why we don't have any building in our deck, because buildings put you in most of the cases in a really bad situation. Even if you have like Tombstone, which is not really bad to play, and your opponent has Golem, sometimes you cannot really sometimes you need to keep it in hand, right? And this is not what you want to have. So having the Goblin Gang, having the Bats, having Ice Golem just for really usage, like for the really cheap tankage, for the cheap cycle, and also supporting my Goblin Bow and Skeleton Bow. Honestly, really great bait cards and really cheap support cards. So guys, this was like my first 8 cards. So here we're going to the kind of the support cards. We have the Sparky, because I feel like most people won't use Rocket in this mode, and also a ton of people didn't use last time the Electro. So Sparky could be really strong. Also, even if they have Rocket, we have a ton of Rocket bait. Also, we have the Valkyrie Mini Packer combination, which I really like. Mini Packer first does a ton of damage, single target damage, which we need in combination with the Sparky. Then we have the Valkyrie as a splash damage unit to kill all the Royal Hogs, to kill all the bait opponents, to kill Graveyard. Valkyrie, just one of the best cards in Clash. So we have the Baby Tank just for some extra splash on air. really solid stuff. Also kinda tanky against spells. So honestly, we have also the Flying Machine, Magic Archer, also some great fireball value. So the synergy between, like, in the stack is really insane. And we also got the Witch, also really good against Fireball. Fireball lock needs to come down, and we have the Goblin Ball, the Flying Machine example, which just also really annoying card because, like, in normal mode, right, you're able to cycle really fastly back to your spell. You have always, like, kind of counter a Mega Knight. But if you're, like, playing in this mode where you always need to cycle, like, 17 cards, it's kind of rough sometimes to get the best answer against the Witch. So in defense, she gets a ton of value. And even, as I said, if your opponent is going to use a spell on her, you're able to outcycle everyone. So guys, now we're going over the spells, and there's a really interesting decision with the spell making. First, we have the Barbarian Ball instead of the Lock. Why do we have the Barbarian Ball? Because I'm just a really big fan of the Barbarian Ball, because the thing with the Barbarian Ball is, like, way better than a Lock is that you're always able to play the Barbarian Ball and your opponent needs to respond. An example, going for a Barbarian Ball, opponents go for a Bandit, you have a Witch, and you get a juicy trade. If you're going for a Lock, the opponent will just ignore it. For sure, you get a cycle ability, but it's not that great because with Barbarian Ball on the map, you kind of cycle 2 cards. Barbarian Ball, your opponent's going to cycle something, and then you get the answer on top of that, and you're kind of defending and pressuring, and this is what you want to always do with Mega Deck decks. Mega Deck decks. Yes, kind of like this. So, defending and cycling. You really want to get back to your Electro Giant, your Sparkies, the right answers. So, having a card which forces out a response from an opponent, you're always able to cycle another card, is great. Also, we have the Snowball in our deck. Why Snowball? What makes the Snowball so great? It's just genuinely really good card. It puts a ton of work on defense. Also, kind of supporting troops, putting troops into the E-Giant. That's also a good question, which a ton of people of you will ask why I'm not using Tornado, because it's really hard, as I said, to cycle Tornado. If I have a Tornado on hand and not like an Electro Giant, or I'm currently in a defense position, for sure I could use my Nado on defense. But the problem is, which I kind of see, is that I will never have a E-Giant Nado push going. I kind of need to save my Nado always for the Electro Giant. So I really prefer to have a different spell like a Snowball, because I could also Snowball troops into the Electro Giant to kill them. I really prefer to have a Snowball because it's way more versatile. I can use it on defense, I can use it on offense, and it's not really like I need to save it for the E-Giant, because especially in an 18 card cycle, I never like to have a card like which is kind of blocking my cycle, as I said already for Bamboo. So having my Snowball, I just prefer it on defense. Then with the Fireball, most likely one of the best buildings against any type of Royal Hawks, in case you don't have the Sparky in cycle, because, or like the Valkyrie, just making really sure we have great defensive control. Also Fireball on offense, killing Magic Archer, kill Flying Machine, because I could also think a ton of people might use a different or like a similar deck which I'm using. So having a Fireball against all the Magic Archers, Flying Machines, Fireball bait stuff, which is really great in this challenge, could be a smart play. And then we have also the arrows, which are kind of like underrated, because I feel like, as I said, bait might be a possibility which a ton of people are using, as we are also using. So having the arrows against all the princes, having the arrows against all the Dark Goblins, all the spam decks in general, it's really great. And this is, in my opinion, the best deck. I'm also going to show it once again. Make sure to use it, make sure to try it. Let me know in the comment section how this deck worked out for you. Would be really interested to see. You can also sub in some cards, making adjustments. Just let me know what you use. Honestly, as I said, the deck is not as important as in different challenges, because there's so many cards. It's just like about playstyle, playing better than an opponent, knowing what the opponent has in cycle, kind of punishing that, because you kind of need to keep in mind, right? If you're playing a Royal Hawks, your opponent is going to Fireball, you kind of know, okay, he needs to cycle 17 cards to get back to another Fireball. I hope you guys enjoyed today's one. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you guys don't want to miss any videos in the future. Also, using creator code mode in the shop is highly appreciated. I wish you a Merry Christmas, guys, and I'm so thankful to have you guys. I would say, have a great day with your family, with your friends, and I would say I'm out. Thanks for watching, and goodbye, guys.